Europe is under an onslaught of Chinese car brands. Some are obscure, others like MG don't sound Chinese at all, but these days they are. And this is the MG HS PHEV. It features class-leading electric range and a price so low you can basically skip this review and get one regardless of what I say. However, I'd really appreciate if you stick around, even if it's just for fun. So, is this MG HS PHEV any good? Let's find out. I compared the MG HS PHEV against the Toyota RAV4 PHEV. Channel members can watch this review early and without ads.
MG is a British brand which, like all of the British automotive sector, experienced a few ups and many downs. Over the years, MG had many owners and finally it was acquired by China's SAIC Motor. At first, new MG models were designed in the UK, but now a growing number of tasks is done in China.
Chinese car makers lack heritage, so the idea was to acquire MG and play the British history card while introducing modern-looking cars. So far, so good.
In any case, the MG HS is a compact crossover, a competitor to the Kia Sportage, Mazda CX-5, Renault Austral and Toyota RAV4. I see design references here, a bit of Mazda in the front and a bit of Lexus in the back, but if I were to describe the MG HS to you, I would ask artificial intelligence to draw a crossover and it would probably come out something like, okay, maybe AI isn't as close to making people redundant as it's hyped. I don't mean to say that the MG HS lacks anything in the design department, not at all. It's an elegant modern car. It also attracts attention because many people don't really know what it is. If you've seen a Mazda or a Toyota crossover once, you'll likely recognize other models from these brands. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers are still developing their design language, and models in different segments from the same manufacturer often look completely different.
While I know car screens aren't everyone's cup of tea, I think we can all agree that they are supposed to make the interior look modern here and now. And possibly dated very quickly, but that's a story for another episode. If you've never seen one of those recent BMW or Mercedes interiors up close, this is a good approximation. The wow factor. You may also like the faux leather upholstery as long as you don't hear it squeak when you move the seats. The last time I experienced something like this was in an early Renault Talisman.
Speaking of seat adjustment, the seat memory setting is on the screen. So Anna, who's much smaller than me, gets out and leaves her settings. Then I have a choice of either moving the seat with a button or squeezing in between the seat and the steering wheel, starting the car, waiting for the system to launch, finding the seat memory settings menu and selecting my position. What's wrong with the seat memory buttons on the doors or on the seat like in any other normal car? There are more such quirks and I will talk about them later. For now, the cockpit. Simple and elegant. The display in front of the driver is legible. There are 3 themes to choose from, including one with a panoramic map, which even displays information about traffic jams.
There are several buttons on the steering wheel and 2 joysticks that are poorly labeled. One of them is an easy guess, that's for the cruise control. The other one must be for volume and tracks, but I can't remember which way is volume and which way is the track. Also, resetting the onboard computer seems to require 2 buttons, and it's not the most intuitive setup, as is the unmarked pull-down menu from the top of the central display, where you can adjust media volume, among other things. Another brilliant idea, just like that seat memory setting thing.
you want to learn and remember how to access two settings in the menu. The first one is the driver assistance systems. Every time you start the car, you have to turn ESA off. That's the speed limit beeper. And definitely turn off driver attention monitor. It goes off every time you look away from the road, which drives me crazy because I want to look around before, I don't know, changing lanes. The second is the charge settings. MG HS PHEV may have a 7 kW onboard charger that can charge the traction battery in 3 hours, but it's a single-phase charger and some homes may not be able to output this much power on a single phase.
Of course, you can reduce the charging power in a energy settings menu, but it returns to the default setting, which is max, every time you start the car. To my best knowledge, you can't change it from the app, because there is a mobile app for this car. So you have to click through the menu before each charge, or limit the charging power on the wallbox side, or increase your power allocation to 22 kilowatts to get 7 kilowatts on a single phase, or charge from a regular 230 volt socket with your granny charger.
Android Auto is wired and it doesn't really work. The connection keeps dropping. Also, USB ports are still USB-A. The wireless charger isn't very powerful. It's enough to maintain charge but not necessarily add a significant amount of charge to your device. The cup holders are too close to the dashboard. Taller drinks will scratch this piano black trim element. Next is the drive selector, parking brake and hill descent assist. The storage compartment under the armrest is large. The glove box is also quite big. The door pockets are flat but deep.
MG advertises the HS PHEV with an electric range of up to 100 km WLTP. The brochure even mentions over 100 km, but that result isn't homologation data. In reality, on a June afternoon with daytime temperatures around 25 degrees Celsius, I managed to cover 110 km without starting a combustion engine. If the last section of my test route had not been on an expressway, I'd probably have covered 120, maybe even 130 kilometers in electric mode. For most of the route, the energy consumption was around 13 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so with a traction battery capacity of over 21 kilowatt hours, this adds up to around 150 kilometers on electricity. Let me know if you ever managed to achieve such results.
MG advertises the total range of the HS PHEV to be 1,000 kilometers. That's taking into account a fully charged traction battery and a full tank of fuel, the capacity of which is 55 liters. This means an average fuel consumption of around 6 liters per 100 kilometers, which, after depleting the main part of the traction battery, is a realistic result for a hybrid like this. The promised time from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is 6.9 seconds. I achieved 6.8 seconds on a wet surface. When accelerating, you can feel that the car doesn't give you everything right away and then gradually releases more and more power. Thanks to this, when taking off in a straight line, even on a wet surface, the wheels do not spin. And this PHEV has a total of 272 horsepower.
Unfortunately, when taking off with wheels slightly turned, the magic is gone and the front wheels fight for traction. Yes, the HS is front-wheel drive only, regardless of the powertrain. And also, regardless of the powertrain, the MG can tow up to 1,500 kilograms. Other than that, the driving experience is like in most compact crossover. The car drives okay, stops okay. MG waxes lyrical about the soundproofing in its promotional materials. However, at motorway speeds, you have to raise your voice to talk to the passenger.
Visibility is terrible. Thick A-pillars and massive mirrors are a recipe for a huge blind spot, which can be dangerous at intersections or pedestrian crossings. The suspension is good on single bumps, but on worse roads you can feel it is working hard. However, it is still better than, for example, in Korean cars a dozen years ago or so. The adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist is good, much better than what I remember from other Chinese models that I have tested so far. And unlike many other Chinese models available in Europe, the MG HS has already been assessed by Euro NCAP and has received a 5-star safety rating.
There is good legroom and okay-ish headroom in the rear. However, the front seats don't slide back as much as in some of the rivals. This is as far as it will go. So there will be always a lot of legroom in the back, but not necessarily a lot of space for taller passengers in the front.
There are large door pockets, pockets in the front seats, an armrest with cup holders, an air conditioning vent, and 2 USB-A ports. A tunnel runs through the middle, but it's flat. The backrest splits 40-60. There is no ski hatch. ISOFIX anchor points are only on the 2 rear seats, but not in the front. The doors cover the sills, but here we have the optional side steps, which in compact crossovers only make it harder to get in without getting your trousers muddy. On rainy days, all sorts of road dirt accumulates on these side steps, and since they are very delicate, I wouldn't actually step on them. The boot volume is 507 liters. It's got a regular boxy shape. Under the floor is the 12-volt battery and some element that I do not recognize. Unfortunately, the cargo cover doesn't fit under the floor. There are also no shopping bag hooks. There is a button to close the boot lid. Price for the MG HS started at €27,990 for the basic 1.5-liter petrol non-hybrid model. The PHEV starts at €39,990. This test car is the luxury trim. With options, which are the brown interior and red paint, it costs €43,640.
Is the MG HS PHEV an ideal car? Far from it. Do legacy car makers have anything comparable at this price point? I don't think so. And how do you like the MG HS? Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.